right, welcome everyone to the Judiciary Committee hearing. This a couple of agendas this Thursday morning. First up, oh, by the way, if we have a catastrophic failure on the tech side, we'll try again on Wednesday, March 27 at 9:46 a.m. in this room 016. We haven't had one yet this year, so I shouldn't have said that. Now we will. First, the 10 o'clock agenda is these were measures that we already heard and were scheduled to do decision making on. So let's start with HB 1915. This is related to the Uniform Probate Code. Updates the Uniform Probate Code by reducing the number of required publications of a notice to creditors by a trustee to once a week for 2 successive weeks, consistent with amendments made by Act 158, Session Laws of Hawaii 2023. We're going to need some more time on this very complicated topic, so I'm going to defer it until April 2, which is a Tuesday at 10 a.m. in this room 016. The next bill is HB 2657 relating to abusive litigation. This establishes judicial procedures to prevent and remedy abusive litigation. Recommendation here is to pass with some amendments. Per the judiciary's testimony, will make the bill effective on January 1, 2025. Also pursuant to the judiciary's testimony, will amend the definition of abusive litigation so that the factual basis of a past order shall be considered when determining whether litigation is abusive. Also, following the judiciary's testimony, will amend the definition of abusive litigation so that pending criminal charges and signed affidavits are no longer a basis for finding that litigation is abusive. And there'll be some text and conforming amendments as well. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard for the vote.
Chair's recommendation on HB 2657 is to pass with amendments. Chair Rhodes.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Elefante.
Aye.
Senator San Buenaventura. Excused. Senator Owa. Excused. The measure passes.
Thank you very much. Finally, on this agenda is HB 1916 related to disclosure of personal information associated with certain public officials. This is another one where we need a little more time, so I'm going to defer this one as well to the April 2, which is a Tuesday, 10 a.m. in this room here, 016. So that concludes that agenda. We will move on to the 1001 agenda. First up on 1001 is a governor's message. This is submitting for consideration and confirmation to the statewide elections accessibility needs advisory committee gubernatorial nominee James Gashel for a term to expire June 30, 2027. First up on GM 591 is Kathy Betts, or someone from the Department of Human Services, in support. Oh, on Zoom maybe.
Yes, hello. Hi, Leah Diaz here for Kathy Betts, Department of Human Services. So pleased to be here and stand on our testimony in support of Mr. Gashel for the statewide Elections Accessibility Needs Advisory Committee. He comes to us with tremendous skills and experience and knowledge and partnership, which we appreciate. So thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Patricia Morrissey, also in support. Other than the nominee, those are the only two people who have signed up to comment on GM 591. Would anyone else here or online like to comment on GM 591? James Gashel. Members, questions for the testifier so far? Seeing none, Mr. Gashel, if you'd like to come on up. And you're about 15 feet away from the chair. There you go. Good morning. If you'd like to make a opening statement, that'd be great.
Thank you very much, Chair Rhodes, Vice Chair Gabbard. Thank you. Now, appreciate the opportunity to be here and happy to respond to any of your questions. I'm real pleased about the work of this committee. It was formed in 2021. Actually, the committee, I think we got started in 2022, and I was one of the initial appointees. I was appointed for a one-year term. That expired. Now we're in the midst of a 4-year term. This confirmation has to do with that. I think our charge is to be the voice of people with accessibility needs at the Office of Elections. And there are good people there, but around the issue of accessibility, we've found that with the new vote by mail law that took effect, first voting in 2020, the office was a bit tone deaf around the issue of accessibility. And wanted us, they were kind of stuck in the past. The old system was you went to a polling place and voted on a machine that was accessible, usable if you couldn't see it, for example. You had an audio output. It worked good. That's when we had polling places. We were told, keep going to the Honolulu Holly to vote, but that's where the COVID was, so we wanted to stay away from that. So we've come up with technology to make it possible to vote remotely, just like you'd vote when you get the paper ballot in the mail. Electronically, we can return our ballots now, and this is good. We need to do a lot more outreach to the community around the issues of accessibility, because we need to make sure that their issues, more than just the visual impairment, is made known to the Office of Elections. That's our challenge going forward, and I'm happy to join the committee and work on that charge. And mahalo for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Members, questions? I don't really have any questions either. I've worked with Mr. Gashel for several years now on various issues having to do with accessibility for those who have difficulty seeing or hearing, and I've been very impressed by your political savvy and by your energetic tackling of issues that are before you. So my recommendation is going to be to pass GM 591 forward. But I need to, other questions and comments, members? So I need to go ahead and do the next GM, but if you can hang around for just a few minutes, we'll go ahead and vote on the two GMs before we go on. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in. And it went way to you. It's way in front of you. There you go.
Way down.
Next is GM 526. This is consideration and confirmation to the Board of Registration of the Island of Hawaii gubernatorial nominee Sean Merrill for a term to expire June 30th, 2027. Let's see, we have one testifier, and that's Sean Merrill, the nominee. I don't know if she's here on Zoom.
Yes, she is here on Zoom, Chair.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Merrill. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sean Merrill. I am currently sitting on the Board of Registration for the Big Island. I am the chairperson. This would be my second appointment or second term for my appointment. It's just, want to do, like I told the senator earlier this morning at 9 o'clock for our meet and greet. It's something just to do as a civic duty. There's so much stuff out there that people complain and complain and complain. And I just feel that, that by doing my part, I know a lot of, false truths or whatever you want to call it. But it's just part of my duty. I enjoy working, being active in the community. Like I told the senator this morning, I'm a 4-H leader, have been for many, many years. I was president of my car club up until just recently. What I didn't tell the senator is, I was even a USAA swimming official. So, I'm always active in my community one way or the other. And this is just another way of doing so.
Okay, thank you very much. Members, any questions? I just had one question. Just remind me, the boards of registration can't have all the same party on them. You're the Republican nominee?
Yes.
Okay. And is the board full right now? Normally the complement is 3, but there's only 2 right now for your board, if I remember correctly?
Yes, when you and I met, yes, as far as I know, there's only 2. The other gentleman is an independent.
Okay.
The person that was the Democrat, she was disqualified from the last election. She chose to just resign completely from the Board of Registrars.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, anything else, members? Okay, if not, with members' indulgence, I'd like to take the vote on the 2 GMs first so that they can depart if they feel like it, and then we'll go on to the last measure on the agenda. So for GM 591, James Gashel for the Statewide Elections Accessibility Needs Advisory Committee. for a term to expire 6/30/2027. Recommendation is to advise and consent. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
Chair's recommendation on GM 591 is for advice and consent. Chair Rhodes?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Elefante?
Aye.
Senator San Buenaventura?
Aye.
And Senator Owa is excused. Measure
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Gashel. Next up is GM 526 for Sean Merrill for the Board of Registration of the Island of Hawaii for a term to expire 6/30/2027. Recommendation is the same, advise and consent to the nomination to the Board of Registration. Questions or concerns? If not, Vice Chair.
On GM 526, of the members present, are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations to both of you, and thank you for your willingness to serve on these boards and commissions. All right, moving on to the last item on the agenda, which is HB 1604. This allows the court to order substance abuse assessment and treatment of a defendant before trial, prohibits the revocation of parole or arrest of the parolee solely due to the parolee having one positive test for drug use. First up on 1604 is Mark Tom, Deputy Attorney General. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Deputy Attorney General Mark Tom for the department. Department just provides comments with some suggested amendments on HB 1604, specifically for Section 2 and Section 3, which deals with HRS Chapter 805 and 806. Department would suggest removing those two sections as it appears to be already covered in the HRS under Section 804 7.1 subsection 7, which refers to bail, recognizance, or supervised release. The second amendment that the department is suggesting is in Section 4. The department doesn't take a position on that section at this time. However, it would just provide some suggested rewrites on making it more clear and clarifying what that section appears to be trying to do at this time. I will be here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Grant Nakaya for Office of Hawaiian Affairs on Zoom, maybe.
They're not present on Zoom, Chair.
They're in support. Fred Hune, Chair of Hawaii Paroling Authority. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, Corey Ranke, Acting Administrator for the Hawaii Paroling Authority on behalf of our Chairman Hewen. The Hawaii Paroling Authority opposes House Bill 1604 HD1, which would undermine the ability of the HPA and its parole officers to properly supervise convicted felons in the community and protect public safety. HPA's practice is to exhaust all social services and community-based treatment programs available to the parolee before considering a parole warrant retake. We find this measure addresses the exception more than the rule. For the period of January 2003 through February 2004, HPA issued 278 warrant retakes. Only 4 were for one-time drug use noted on the warrant, but the other violations are documented in the supervision report presented to the board after adjudication. Although there were previous violations not noted on the warrant, this practice allows the parole officers to use professional discretion to continue working with the parolees, especially those with housing, family, and/or employment concerns. In the 4 rare instances noted above, when a parolee is retaken due to a single drug use, it has been determined that the public safety risk to themselves or others outweighs their amenability to rehabilitate efforts in the community at that time. Additionally, there are times when a parolee will flat out refuse to cooperate with any community-based treatment or social services. And lastly, HPA is not the cause of any severe overcrowding in state correctional facilities, nor the alleged skyrocketing rates as drafted. So we'll be available for any questions.
Okay, thank you. I forgot, it's on the agenda, but just a reminder, we do have a 2-minute time limit on testimony. A little buzzer will go off and there's a countdown on the screens. You didn't go over 2 minutes. I just forgot. I usually mention it. Haley Chang, Assistant Public Defender. Good morning.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Haley Chang, the First Deputy at the Office of the Public Defender, and we stand on our written testimony in support of the bill, particularly as it relates to parolees. As members have heard, it is a pretty rare occurrence, and we acknowledge that. However, if it is rare, then there should be no issue codifying it. We also believe that it will encourage parolees who may be struggling with substance or relapse to remain compliant otherwise, knowing that they can check in with their parole officer, be transparent and disclose a relapse, and that they will get continued support and services should they need it. We believe this bill encourages the move towards rehabilitation rather than being punitive. So we stand in support, and I will be available for any questions.
All right, thank you. Next is Daniel Hugo for the prosecuting attorney of Honolulu. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Rhodes, Vice Chair Gabbard, and members of the committee. The Department of the Prosecuting Attorney, I'm Daniel Hugo, representing the Department of the Prosecuting Attorney for the City and County of Honolulu, and we oppose the amendments in Section 4 of this bill, which would amend HRS 353-66 to create a bright rule, essentially, that would take away discretion from the parole board in revocations. In our written testimony, we did provide 2 examples of instances where this might be necessary. First, where that drug violation does move someone based on an evidence-based risk assessment from medium risk to high risk. And second, in cases where there is a long history that indicates that that person cannot receive substance abuse treatment in a fruitful way in the community. And so treatment in custody would be best to address their substance abuse issues. So I'm available for questions, and thank you.
Great, thank you. Next is Kat Brady, coordinator for Community Alliance in Prisons. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. I'm testifying in strong support of this for Community Alliance on Prisons. You know, as of February 12th of this year, 314 people were imprisoned for parole violations in Hawaii and Arizona. That's 8% of the population. And it's just crazy that we're doing this. And when you look at the report that the AG did on legalization, they said, oh, there were 50,000 violations, 40,000, didn't result in a conviction. It's like, what are we doing? When somebody has a public health problem, let's help them instead of incarcerating them where we can get drugs. We participated in a tool called the sequential intercept model. And that model basically looks at all the services that are available in communities. And that's what we can build on to actually build a robust system so that when somebody has a behavioral problem or something else, we can address that. There's enough programs in the community to actually address those issues. And that's what we really need. So I hope you pass this bill because I think the chair was really focused on cannabis and, such a small amount, it just seems crazy that we're incarcerating people for this. So thank you, and revoking parole.
All right, thank you. Next is Alan Johnson for Hawaii Substance Abuse Coalition in support. Next is Chris Caulfield, co-chair Legislative Committee for the Democratic Party of Hawaii, also in support. Next is Opportunity Youth Action Hawaii in support. Carrie Ann Shirota, Policy Director for American Civil Liberties Union of Hawaii, also in support. Next is Earl Everett on Zoom, maybe?
They're not present on Zoom, Chair.
Okay, in opposition, Brendan Ayolo in opposition, Jonathan Arantz in opposition, Thaddeus Pham in support, Michael Older in support, Carolyn Eaton in support, Adrian Boxer in opposition, Daphne Barbie in support, Colleen Roast Bonnick in support. That's everyone who signed up for HB 1604. Does anyone else wish to testify on HB 1604? Yep, go on up. Good morning.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Kaylee E. Nixon. I'm with the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, and we will be standing on our written testimony in support. Mahalo for the opportunity.
Thank you. Anyone else like to testify on HB 1604? Okay, seeing none, members' questions? Senator Elefante, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Question for Administrator Renke. Great morning, Administrator.
Good morning.
In reading your testimony, there were 278 warrants or retakes, and then this is from January of last year to February of this year, and 4 you noted were one-time drug use on that warrant. Of those 4, did they have any prior convictions or any priors before that?
Prior convictions?
Or prior?
Or pending?
Pending, yeah.
Some may have had some pending charges. Otherwise, there may have been some high-risk behavior. Noted that allegedly, victims will come forward and make accusations that our parolee assaulted them. So for public safety reasons, if we feel that that's the case, we have to take them into custody and we have to act swiftly. If we have them at our office for safety reasons, we don't do arrests. That's the sheriff's job. So there are other underlying things if we do that. And as I indicated, we've only done it 4 times in the last 14 months.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Other questions, members? I do have a question for Mr. Tom from the the AG's office, formerly of the prosecutor's office. Your testimony, you state that sections 2 and 3 of the bill are unnecessary since an existing statute includes the option for the court to order mental health treatment or testing, including treatment for drug or alcohol dependency or to remain in a specified institution. The title of the existing statutes, 804-7.1, is conditions of release on bail, recognizance, or supervised release. Does the statute encompass every scenario envisioned in this bill that the screening or treatment can be ordered at any time before the trial? So does the current law say that does it amount to any time before the trial you can, the treatment or screening can be ordered?
I think the department feels that this section does cover all those scenarios as to order any individual, at least to do treatment or an assessment. I think the courts need to have some type of jurisdiction over them. Now, if there's other types of programs that they're part of and they're not charged with the case, that would have to be with that program on what rules guide that. But if they have a case pending, they would be under the jurisdiction of the court, and they would either be bail, recognizance, or some type of condition of their release if they are not still in custody. So I think that 804-7.1 subsection 7 does cover it. I mean, the department believes that it does cover.
Okay, so if that's the case, then you wouldn't object to us making it clearer that that's what's happening, that a screening or treatment can be ordered at any time before trial?
I think the only concern that we have is that section doesn't appear to be, that 805 and 806 doesn't appear to be, those are like criminal procedures, where that should be. And I don't have a suggestion to the committee of where that clarification could be put in. But if the committee has some scenarios in which they do not believe that individuals that are pre-trial, awaiting, I guess, disposition of their case, we could take a look at those situations and determine if they do fit under 804-7.1. If it doesn't fit under it, then we can at least at that point have a conversation with the committee to see where that might fit in. But the department's position at this point is that all those individuals does cover. I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, other questions?
Yes, I do.
Senator Wintour.
Parole. You know those 4 instances. Do you know what kind of positive drug test was it? Was it like marijuana, or was it for
Methamphetamine.
for methamphetamine? Okay, and I understand that, but okay. Thank you very much.
Other questions, members? If not, I'm ready to make a recommendation if everybody's okay. All right. I would like to move the bill forward, but with some amendments. For the pretrial substance abuse screening and treatment option in sections 2 and 3 would incorporate a time frame so that the order requires that the substance abuse assessment and any necessary treatment be commenced within 7 days of the order. And then, let's see. And then in section 4 of the bill, prohibiting parole revocation or arrest solely due to the parolee having one positive test for drug use, incorporate wording changes proposed by the AG, add as a basis that the revocation or arrest cannot be based solely on one incident of alcohol consumption as well. We'll amend the preamble to delete the first sentence that attributes skyrocketing incarceration rates and overcrowding to parole violations and other conforming amendments. And we'll put a different defective date on it. It'll be April 14, 2112. My opinion is a work in progress, but worth moving ahead. Questions or concerns? Senator Alfonte.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be voting with reservations. I still have some concerns, but I appreciate your amendments, mainly the concerns raised by the Hawaii Paroling Authority and Administrator sharing with us today. But I do believe that further discussion is warranted. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On HB 1604, to pass with amendments, noting the reservations of Senator Elefante. Chair Rhodes?
Aye.
Vice Chair Rhodes, aye. Senator San Buenaventura?
Aye.
And Senator Awaz excused. The measure passes.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the end of our agenda. We're adjourned.